In this video, we're going to go over documenting a daily note. So if you watched my previous video, our patient's an accountant, and he's limited with sitting for prolonged periods of time. On the first visit, he said 30 minutes. He also said he has difficulty lifting 20 pounds, and he does recreational weightlifting. So we'll say we've had this carries over automatically. His main functional limitations in order of importance to him. So sitting more than 30 minutes, bending forward past his knees, and lifting anything over 20 pounds. So for the subjective, for the first follow-up, or for any follow-up, we're just going to give some information. So we'll just ask him, like, how does he feel? So we could say Brett felt better for 4 hours following his first appointment. He felt, and then we might ask him to elaborate. So we could say he felt his pain was down 50%, and he could sit for up to an hour without a standing break. Since then, his pain has gotten a little worse, but not as bad as the beginning of last session. Current sitting tolerance is about 40 minutes. And we can add anything else he might give us. So we could say Brett felt an hour-ish of insomnia secondary to the back pain. And then, like, let's say we gave him sleep education. We can say he recognizes the importance of sleep and has been using less caffeine afternoon. And then we can just list again his current levels. We can just copy and paste those. I like to leave this at the top just so I have comparisons. So let's say sitting over 45 minutes currently, lifting anything over 30 pounds. And let's say number 2, bending forward past his knees stayed the same. Subjective, I like to find like a key like objective measure that kind of relates to his complaints. So we can say lumbar flexion is 34 degrees. I also might make a note at initial eval it was 30 degrees. And this will automatically carry over from note to note so we have comparisons. Might add others in there, like such as like hip range of motion, lumbar strength, or even like how long he can hold a plank for or how much he can deadlift. Let's say he's further along. I might say able to deadlift, or for the sake of sounding fancier, I might say hip hinging floor to waist with 30 pounds, with a 30-pound kettlebell, or something along those lines. But how much weight he can lift is an objective measure. Now, for which ones I'm going to bill, the billing codes, I'm not going to get in too much detail here because this is kind of a complicated subject. But manual therapy will say is anytime we're putting our hands on them and it's completely passive. Theractivity, TheraX, and NeuroReed are kind of interchangeable. A lot of times you can argue something's more than one. The simple way I look at it is Theractivity is like more functional based. So like let's say has trouble lifting floor to waist and we worked on deadlifting. I would put that under therapeutic activity. TheraX would be more like simple exercises, like we had him do like let's say like a hamstring stretch or something along those lines. And then like if we did some resisted pelvic tilts or something along those lines that required more coordination, then I might put it under NeuroReed. Then assessment, just a brief summary. So we'll say Brett demonstrated progress from the first session, has a sitting tolerance went from 30 to 45 minutes. We might mention how we were able to progress this treatment. So maybe we were able to do some more lumbar strengthening exercises than we could the first session. So I might add that next. So I can say Brett tolerated treatment progression of resisted posterior pelvic tilts and supine with his knees bent. And then we can just summarize his limitation. So Brett continues to be limited with lumbar flexion, range of motion, has trouble performing pelvic tilt motions, and continues to have pain when attempting to lift over 20 pounds. And then plan, I always like to leave it like this. Let's say I want to do something out of the ordinary and I discuss it with the patient, just so I don't forget. We'll say like discuss trying dry needling next session, so that way I don't forget.